Hello, another day, another time for doing something useful in your life. Okay, today we're going to do a blood border. Now, in the game, we have this function when you get hit that if you take damage, a blood border is being displayed at the edges, and this is going to be just a kind of cinematic effect, so that you see and maybe feel a little endangered. Is also famous for all the Call of Duty games and other games that you have this kind of blood border coming up when you take damage. Now let's go to the test level to show this. Here, deactivate the test activator. Not supposed to be on. And go to the test level. Then let's analyze what's wrong with the current blood border. Also look at some examples, what we could improve with our current blood border. So the first thing is what we will have to do is to redesign the blood border. Let us show the blood border now. Yeah, you see it here. The edges. And this border does not look like real blood. It's a good try, but I think I missed the final touch. I think the final touch just didn't hit right. So for this, we are just going to look into blood borders, I guess. And for this, we are going to open YouTube. So let's search for some inspiration for our blood border. And some search blood border in games. Don't find anything under that. We can actually also just Google Call of Duty or something. No. We also have to find how this is commonly called. I call this blood border, but I think it has a different name. I can look into the character. It's damage UI. Okay. This one. This is exactly what we are looking for. Now this one does not look good. I don't like it. We are still going to look into this. And maybe there's some links from this blood splatter FX on screen. Let's see. It seems like the YouTube algorithm isn't working very well for us.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Development Engine 4. Again, making sure it's a PNG with a transparent background like that. But once you've downloaded it, we're going to right click on it.
Yeah. I'm not looking how to implement this. This is not our problem. We just want it to look better. And for this, we will need a better looking blood indicator.
Wobbling. One shot.
I'm not caring for the sound effects. I just want to see the blood effect. Don't see it here. Oh no, duty. What? Three. Yeah, this looks a little bit nicer here. You see that the blood is actually dark red. It has a lot of opacity. Nice inspiration. So this is a good idea. Have the blood not be like drag, like here in this example, where you have a normal red color or white red color, strong red color. Have it be dark red, and if it's dark red, give it a lot of opacity, and the background will then tint it a little bit brighter. This is a very, very good idea. Let's keep searching. YouTube is really not. I have the feeling like YouTube has in the last year really made their algorithm much worse for finding things that you actually want to find. Let's find other examples for blood on screen. No, we only find this example here. This is nice to find, but not what we actually want to see. We want to see some really good inspiration for a splatter on the screen. Maybe this one. Yep. Okay. And we already have the algorithm for that because it's already in the game. Now we have to create our own border. So the inspiration that I've drawn from the videos now is first of all have a very dark red color, which would be nice. And the second thing would be to have to really have make sure that the middle part is having a lot of transparency. So I would say in the end we're going to mark the middle part with a circle and just straight up delete everything that's in there and make sure that the middle part is not being obstructed by anything that would make it too hard to play the game. We don't want this to be destructive. We want this to be addition to your gameplay experience. So first of all, let's choose a very dark red color. Then next we are going to try out to find some good blood splatter effects. So I'm going to take my drawing pen. I forgot to take it out. Wait a second. So now I have my nice drawing pen. So let's set this up. Okay. See if I can draw with this. Yes. So now I can try out some different pencil settings in Adobe. And if none of these work or look fine, I will have to go and find some in the internet. There are some nice templates for pen settings, and some make good blood splatters, but not all of them. So let's start. So I'm just going to try out some different pen settings here. Probably there's going to there's going to be some that don't work, and this one is one that's actually not a pen. I also have to be careful. Unity, Adobe uses usually crashes a lot when you use these pens. So might have a problem with that. Okay, let's make this one way bigger. And this one is actually hard to control where we are drawing, and this is a little bit small. But I like the splatters. It's unfortunate. Make it way bigger. Yeah, not that big. And we see Adobe is lagging right now. This is what I thought. Sometimes Adobe can't handle these pens. I hope it hasn't crashed already. Would actually be the case. But let's not hope for that. So as you see, Adobe is already not reacting. I don't know why it's behaving like this when you take these other pen settings. I guess there's just a lot of processing work to do if you do so. So I guess we have to restart Adobe. Which is really unfortunate, but it has to be done. Okay, let's try another pen. So I might do this with the mouse, even though I have a drawing pen. But when you strike with a pen, you used to generate a lot of data, like drawing a line, and then he's trying to draw these circles at every pixel that you touch. And I think this is just generating a lot of processing that my PC can't handle right now. So let's try another way. Just if you overdo this. This is not really what I want. I only want this at the edges. You see the spread is so high that I get it all over the place. Aside from this, I think this is not a bad splatter effect. I'm not convinced that this is the right rate. I think we might go a little bit higher in the brightness of the red. Voila. And let's try out some more pens before we set for any specific type of pen here. Yeah, I don't think this is a good pen. Oh. I thought it would be, but it looks kind of janky. This one is also nice. But now we want this to flow a little bit down, maybe. So you have the blood that is coming down from the screen. For that we would have to use this tool here. It's going to drag the color, but do so. Oh. Nope. It's not good. It was not a good idea. Hopefully it doesn't crash again. and it looks like we crashed. So because we, oh, never mind. I think it cancelled for some reason. Now smearing like this kind of creates the effect that I want, but only at the edges. The rest is very weird. Let's wait for this to finish. No, that's not what I want. Is there another modus? No, nothing useful. So I haven't found the things that I want yet, but let's keep experimenting just a little bit. Okay, let's maybe start from the beginning. And this one is weird. I'm not going to use that one. Nope. So, so it's one of these ones that we are going to use. I still haven't decided yet. I think the second one here is superior. This one has too much smearing. I think it's the second one that I want. Is this one? No, this is some kind of stem. So to do this, I'm going to increase the size even further to 2300, but I'm but to not have it to have it a little spread towards the middle, I'm going to not even touch the picture here. See if this maybe works. Not really. Okay, a little bit. I think I overdid it a little bit on the top side. So let's do that again. Okay. Now this will be our blood border. Now we have to erase the middle part. We want to have a clear view in the middle. So for this we can just pick an eraser. We could try to do something fancy right here, but we can really just do this with by hand, because there's nothing really special about it. And let's put the width to 1500. It's putting a little bit too much. So we have to do it in a nice circle movement. Like this. I think the eraser is spreading too much. So let's increase its hardness 50%. Might be better. Now I think that's a good start. But I also want to break this pattern a little bit. I think this is a little bit too much of a pattern. So let's start again. So first we are going to make a layer. And the first layer should be really only the edges. Just a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to do our layer that we actually want. The first one we're going to strict up, take the middle and erase it. Just try to be a little bit random here. Erase this. Okay. Now we get our next layer will be the like the old one that we just used and that we will erase on. Now we're taking our eraser and we'll just delete this middle part. And now because there's two layers, you kind of don't see the pattern where I erased, because this layer here right here, this one on top of the other layer, this breaks the pattern that we have created with our eraser. Now let's try to erase a really smooth motion there. Okay. Form the two layers. And I might, no, I want this to be even extended further. This. So it's not distracting too much. Let's combine the two layers. Oh, wait a moment now. I actually want to do the erasing again. For that one. But I want to increase the hardness again. I'm not too happy with how easy you detect where I've erased the blood effects. Find the two layers. Now let's put them into a group. Maybe not. I want to try to make them look three-dimensional. And there's a very easy trick. Just use this setting here for applying some kind of three-dimensionality to them. Yeah, and let's look at what happens if we apply this effect to the second layer as well. Well, that's not really noticeable. Oh, but we have a real problem at the edges right there. So because our edges, if you look at the edges, the ending of the layers, they have the effect that we just applied to the layers are now displayed at the borders. We don't want this, but there's an easy fix for this. Just let's make a copy, save the border. Let's save the border. Let's save first. Okay, now we saved. And now we can try to adjust the borders a little bit. First, I'm going to make these into a group. I'm going to duplicate this group. And I'm going to make this into one picture and cut out the edges. Okay, it's much better. I think this is much better. Now let's readjust its size. Okay, the last thing I want to try is to just take some of the blood splitters and make them smear over the HUD. I'm not sure if this will work though. So let me take the pen for this. use 100% strength and let's try. Okay, I don't think this works as I wanted to. See if we can do this with the old layers. Actually, no, the old layers work just fine. It's convenient. Okay, now we have our new blorder. And let's just straight up try it out. If this is better than our old one, which I have started disliking. Just try to get a little more space in the middle. Actually, I didn't. Okay, let's try to export this. Here you see that I've already tried a lot of borders, and they all didn't work. Sometimes you just have to start all over again. Especially if you are doing artistic work. The next day you often realize that you made some mistakes, but when you are focused on your work and you do the artistic part over and over again, you tend to at some point forget what is looking good and what not, because you're looking at your artwork the whole time, and you kind of trick yourself into thinking things are looking good which aren't. Happens to me all the time, also with the sound effects. When I'm working on sound effects, I really have after working for 1 or 2 hours on the same sound, I really have problems to still hear it in some kind of neutral head state. We name this. A little bit weird that Unity is compiling so much for me browsing some folders. And one thing that we could still do is, just like in this image here, make this here actually gray space. This would us enable to color it later in Unity and try out different colors. So let's try out our new border and if it's better or not. And it didn't open this. Must have double clicked on something accidentally. Okay, let's try this out. Not so convinced. It looks fine, but it looks Let's take a look. It looks weird for some reason. It looks weird. I can't say why. I don't think it looks too bad. Let's play a little bit more. Okay, the first thing that strikes me is I think the middle part, the top and the bottom should have less blood. I think it's a little bit too much towards the middle. So I think I have to get rid of this part here. Maybe even this part. And here the bottom part a little bit. Because I have the feeling like it's distracting my view a little bit. So let's do that. Let's do that and then just come back. Before we do any more analysis, let's just fix the most obvious part first. I still want to have some randomness in this, but overall get rid of most of the particles towards center of your screen. So this way we radically enhance the view of the player. We unfortunately have to get rid of some of the nicer effects that I actually like. Maybe just put you aside. So I think this doesn't look bad. So these ones. Okay, let's try to save this again. And we import. Yeah, I think this is much better. Yeah, I like this. I actually like this. I think the blood could be a little bit darker. Let's improve on that. I think it's because of the effect that it is on the layers. Let's reduce this to 50%. Oh, that's not looking good. Let's Also look inside of Unity if there's some color on it. Nope, there's no color. So we have to do the work here. And also try to manually darken the color. Okay, let's go for 10% more black. And let's check it out. Yeah, that looks nice. Now, what else can we do? We can use material ShaderGraph to display some kind of blood movement on top of the damage screen. I have to look into the UI. This uses a material, and we can switch this material to another material that moves the blood around. So how do we do this? Do we already have something like this? We look into the hard UI. There should be a material here. Materials. No, not it. I think it's one of these shaders. Yeah, this one. And I think the loading bar shader, that's maybe a good starting point. So let's just copy this. I don't think we can copy this. No. Let's just create a new shader graph. I think this is unlit. Well, let's just look into this. Okay. Now I think this is spider lit. Okay, let's create another spider lit. And call this one damage UI shader. And we're going to straight up copy the properties from these from this shader here. Here we have this body button, copy shader, and insert it into the damage UI shader. See if we can insert it now. No. So how do we do this? But we can still do it the old-fashioned way. Just click, Control C, paste. I'm gonna do it the hard way then. Now what we need to do is we have to swap out the texture here. Now here you see this is a loading bar texture. We want it to be the damage UI, like this one. Okay. Now we have to save this. And I don't want the shader to be in this folder anymore. I want it to be in the player UI folder. And this will now automatically create a material we can use. Now we don't see anything because I have disabled it. That doesn't look correct. Let's see what's wrong. We haven't saved. We have not saved it. Let's look at it again. So this also doesn't look correct because I think it's not scaling correctly. The blood. No, sorry. I think it's not scaling correctly with the texture shard size. So let's see if there's something that influences how it's scaling. Yes, there is. We have to also tell him use the scaling of our image and apply this. So now it should nicely display itself. Now we see that the blood here actually moving. Unfortunately though, it doesn't look realistic. So we have to put in some work. Because if you look at this, oh, that doesn't look too good. Unfortunately. We have to put in more work. Make this actually work. It looks good in this part where when you are a little bit further away and you don't see that there's just dark little circles moving around, but yeah, once you get closer, the illusion is not strong enough. So what are we doing here? We're actually using this Voronoi box to create these little wobbles right here. Then we are trying to blend them with its own cells together to create some kind of randomness. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. So let's try to see if we can maybe change this. No. Oh, it's becoming obvious. I think this. I don't think this. I don't think that this will fly. Let me just experiment a little bit. So we are just going to experiment a little bit with this effect right here. Could also create a new node. For noise. Oh, let's look into the noise. We also have this gradient noise. Let's try to check this out. Maybe this gradient noise works way better here. So we see the gradient noise is actually moving a little bit too fast. Scale is a little bit off. So let's add another box here that is going to adjust our scale to a more acceptable value. And you know what? Because I'm using my drawing tablet right now, I'm looking down to my drawing tablet the whole time. It's not good. I might want to start making up my next drawing soon instead of working on the ShaderGraph. Then we'll work on the ShaderGraph again. Let me just try one more thing. That is to adjust the scale. Doesn't look right. This is not what we want. We want to edit the UV somehow. And put those two together.
Child. Hello can only stay for 15 minutes or so, just wanted to see what you're working on.
Hi. Well, now I'm working on this blood border. You see that there's this blood border is supposed to come up when you're getting damaged, and I'm using actually ShaderGraph for this. And this is the whole graph. This is where I get in the texture, apply the alpha channel to the final product, and decide what kind of noise I put over the blood right now. And you see that the noise over the blood does not look pretty yet. So I'm trying to just try to make it look a little bit more random, so that you have some kind of wobbling effect on the blood that makes it a little bit more visually pleasing than just to have an image. Because if you see this image, it's nice, it comes up, you get damage and you see this image, but I also want to have at least some kind of noise on it. And this is what I'm doing right now. And ShaderGraph, getting into it is really hard, I guess. I think because you start to create these nodes, and first you read them and you have no idea what they do. You're like, okay, math, yes, maybe multiplication, add, okay, multiply, and the rest you don't know what they do. And yeah, that's at the beginning it's really hard to get into it, but after some time you get used to, you get to know the nodes that you most likely are going to use. For example, here this blend node, I blend together these two effects and try to create some noise through through two different noise patterns. But I'm still not convinced that this is good. For example, this pattern right here, it's scaling into one direction, and I can actually make it go into I can actually make it move into one direction and back again with a sinus curve, but doesn't look good. Yeah, shaders are absolutely hard at the beginning. Absolutely not a beginner's thing. And I also spend a whole lot of time just trying to make shaders look good. Like, if I disable this shader right here, you can actually see that this UI here is using some shaders. I think it looks really good on this UI here. You're not supposed to see it this close, but if you are scrolling out, like here, it just looks like random noise inside of this this bar right here. And also the heart has a little small pumping effect on it, and that's what I really like to do. And also all the buttons in the game have a shader, which also just applies some random noise so that they look nicer. It does look great, yes, but it took me a whole lot of time until I figured out how, like, you see this white reflection right there, so that it doesn't completely disappear, and that also the dark parts of the bar, that you can still see that this bar is supposed to be round, and that it adds up very nicely. So a lot of experimentation. Then you have, if it's too dark or too white, you have to clamp it, so you have to filter out some values that you won't allow if they are too high or too low for your brightness or darkness. And there's just a whole lot of adjustment that you have to try out until you get what you want artistically. No, the white highlight, the most clever way would have been if I would have known that I want to have this white highlight on the bar, I would just apply it as a PNG picture on top of the bar. That would have been the most clever way. But what I actually did is I filtered out that the white and dark colors of this bar are, I think in the shader graph, they are filtered out and then applied again. Something like that. And you can also experiment a little bit with multiplication. You multiply your dark colors will stay. If you divide, your dark colors will stay, and if you mix them both up, you eventually get what you want. So yeah, with a lot of experimentation, you can in the end get your desired outcome. Just have to be patient there. So now I want to try to move this noise, but I don't want to move this in one direction. So maybe I can try to apply sine and cosine. Cosine. If I can ask a very basic question, say you just want to create some classes not attached to game objects or some or anything, is there a place they are organized so that they can be referred in any script? Yes. Now, normally I don't put much attention to this. But when you have your project folder and put in your classes, you can also always reference them. Now, you can also define the namespace where you are. So now if I say Unity standards assets 2D, this will put me into my standard assets folder. And inside of this is also my project, so I now have references to all of my classes right here. I put my classes inside of the folder structure that I've put up, and normally if I just use my IDE, and then my IDE will tell me, hey, you have to import your classes and do the rest for me. But you can also reference, just like you normally do in C#, other folders as well. And not attached to game objects. Yes, you can do. I actually don't do this in this game, I think. Maybe do. Not sure, 100% sure. But I do it on my job. I am using some classes right there, and I don't put them on any object. Let me think. I use some models. There's a class just for model structure that I don't have on any game object. Yes, but usually I just use my IDE, so Like static classes, yes. Static classes are very good. It's very, very good to set up the global variables as a static class. Actually, that's one very good example for where I would use a static class. So in my other project, I'm using a class named settings. The settings are read through JavaScript. No, JSON. A JSON. It's reading a JSON and setting itself up with a JSON deserializer. And I never did put it on any class 100% sure, just reference it through the main class. Is in this case, yes. In this case, yes. But in the other project, I actually have a settings class that I don't have on any game object. Now I do initialize this class inside of the global variables, and I have the global variables on a game object. But I would bet that this is not the most important thing. Because I do it with other classes as well. The only real thing that you have to keep in mind, and I actually didn't know this for a long time, is do you know what model behavior does? Because this is very Unity specific. Yes, and such. And it also has a big downside, and I didn't know this for a long time. If you don't use model behavior, you can't use certain Unity functions like this all here. Find all game object with tag, get component. These are all functions that you get with the model behavior. This is the you inherit the methods from model behavior. You can do this. So this is, if we just put this. Now you see find object of type is immediately not available, and even if I would delete this and the code would try to run at this point, the Unity editor would actually tell you that it stops at this line of code and can't process this, because this is a Unity function and you need model behavior for this. And the most important thing is if you're doing threading, threads are not Unity functions. You do it via mostly IEnumerator. And let me remember, tasks. Tasks can also do tasks, and there was a third one that I've forgotten one. And threads don't work with the model behavior, which is very important if you're setting up a server or a client. Because in server and clients, you usually use some kind of thread to handle all the incoming messages and do your routing stuff. So this is something where you really have to get your head around, because then you get most frameworks use some kind of threadings, and then you have to get somehow around this to be able to execute your things that you want to do in Unity from the server. Because you can't do it in the thread. If you try to do this in a thread here, Unity will say you can't do this because it's a Unity function. Modbot didn't like one of my words. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I activated some bots because normally when I did try to stream, you get a lot of bot messages, and you need some to have some kind of filters. So I'm very sorry that Modbot did filter that out. No worries. Was just saying I had to run since it's 6 p.m. We'll catch you next time, and thanks for the info. No problem. Have fun. Oof. This is going to be a pain. So now with our little new blood border, test it out. I think we are very close to the final effect. I think it's quite good. We have to soften it up a little bit. And there's two things I want to soften up. This effect is really good on this, added together with this effect on the blood border. But I think it's a little bit too strong, and I want to soften up the edges of the effect. Because if you look into this, just in the preview, but here in the real game, you kind of see these edges right here. How you see them? These have to go. you also can see too much that the picture is moving as a whole. I'm trying to slow this down as much as possible. I know you see it's still moving, but you don't realize that it's moving in a circle. Which is a slight improvement. But the good thing is this looks like the right randomness in the pattern that we can apply. So I'm very happy with the randomness in the pattern. Now time to try to somehow make this blend in a little bit nicer. I think I don't like the dark parts right now. So let's just like try to change the clamping. Not allow so much dark parts. Focus on the bright ones. I want to look into this material because I was doing some crazy stuff with this. So I want to try some different math methods first. Let's try multiply, which is fair enough. And this is just going to make it very dark. It's not my intention. But we can still just try it out. Maybe it looks fine. Oh no, 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 no. It doesn't. You can also try division. But then it will just be the exact opposite of that. It's not with that. Let's try blending. Okay, now we lose the color. Okay, that's a problem. Yeah, I see where the problem is. Yep, I think this is very nice now. Just clamping and adjusting a lot. It's just tried in the game now. It looks acceptable, I think. Maybe I still want to adjust the movement, so it's a little bit slower. And I think after that we can call it a day, at least with this effect. Now, is it perfect? I don't think so, but it's still a huge improvement over the old system. Sorry. Sorry. I think the clamping is maybe not optimal way to go. Yeah, because of the clamping, the which was flattened was not nice. Just do no clamp at all. Yeah, I think this looks I think this looks much nicer without the clamping. Let's try it in game. Save the graph. Yeah, I don't think that later in the game that you can actually see figure out why the blood is moving. So I guess that's it. The only thing that I could do is maybe um less of this effect, but I like the effect. Let's try it out. Yeah, I think that looks just nice. It's really, really nice. I think it's a little bit too bright. Don't know what to do about that one though. Now I'm just playing a little bit with the values. To make this darker, I can just multiply the end result. I think now I'm also I'm also happy with the brightness. May want to do something about the alpha channel though. So let's also multiply that. Yeah, now it's not that distracting. Let's hit play and try this out. Okay, I think this is a great improvement overall. And I'm finishing my work with the shader now. So here's the oops, what am I doing? Here's the final shader graph, but kind of messed up the tabs in Unity. Let's just close them. Okay. So this is the final result after messing around with a lot of options right there. Apply this. Oh, sure, I didn't mean to apply the color. Close just fine. The material in the source image are now in every level, and I think this is a great improvement. Might change this later, but now I think what I actually would change is maybe a little bit the image for the blood, for the splatter effect on the screen, and nothing else. So we can go there, go to our little list here. It's not here. So let's try to find this. No. Yep. Improve blood border. Done. Try out new main character facial expression. Yeah. It's going to be done next time. So this is going to be done tomorrow because it's already too late to start this task. But we have crossed out another task today, which is very important. If we keep crossing out tomorrow, I just want to cross out 1 or 2 tasks because I'm always also will have to work tomorrow, so I can't do too much. So say Wednesday. I think I will try to do those 2 though. I just get one done. will be a little bit hard waiting. Tuesday. Yeah, that's a good task for Tuesday. Friday. Let's put this down, because this is quite a big task. Okay. I think Wednesday, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday, Sunday. This I might be able to do a patch next week, which would be amazing, really amazing. So I'm definitely going to say it's not going to take more than 2 weeks to get the patch done, which will be a huge turning point. Because I think the game just has made so far that it's quite nearly a different game. It actually is, from the gameplay perspective, it is a different game. And after that, let's see what we have. GitHub, change fonts. Then we have 2 character rewrites. These are going to take a little bit longer. Update the main video trailer. So there's a lot of trailer work. I usually suffer with these ones and take a long time with these. Also with Facebook Steam distribution, I tend to have a little bit of a weakness for that. That's level variations. This will be hard. Singles will be hard. This is going to be the last patch. Advertisement. Oh, the werewolf is going to get a rewrite. Yes. Okay, that's really ambitious here. Because these are not that important, but they are nice to have. They are also very hard to do. It will take a long time. Then a website. Ooh, yeah, I hate making websites. Check out publishers, yes, and sharing options like itchier.io. Clean up code. Ooh, that's hard. And an achievement if you don't kill enemies. Add hotkey tips to text. Split UI in input type text UIs. Yes. And clean up empty levels. Yes. Okay. Still a lot of work to do. Need to keep going. But that also means, what is also very important, getting sleep. So, see you tomorrow if you want to join. And thank you for everybody who was joining this channel and looking a little bit at my work. Thank you and have a good night. Bye.